Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Getting some rain here in Texas. Nice morning. A little windy though. Um, I just want to go into a concept, something I thought about the other day. It came to me the other day about being grateful for the dark players. Now, I guess you could say it's controversial, but honestly, it makes sense because I've been thinking about it a little bit. And you know, if if you just had a world that, let's just say, like, let's say these dark players, these elites, these ones who are suppressing humanity and, you know, keeping people keeping people enslaved in a lower level of consciousness, a lower level of, you know, material uh, materially keeping us suppressed. I mean, feeding off of our loosh, right? They talk about feeding off of that these entities feed off of a suffering, and I do believe that's true. It's interesting because if it wasn't for that dynamic happening, people would not turn inward. You know, I followed, I did Art of Living, Ravi Shankar Panditji, and he would say that, you know, pain makes you deep and suffering makes you deep and makes you go within. And it's true. It makes you really, like, when you have things going against you, it really turns you, like, it turns you inward. And see, the sage, the smart person, the person who's using their intelligence to, you know, Raja Yoga is you're using your mind to turn inward. It starts to use everything, that individual will start to use everything to the advantage of this inward turn, whether it's a good thing, whether it's a bad thing. This is the power of Sahaj Marg. And I'd like to make some more videos about this because this is the real turning point for me in my spiritual, you know, abhyas or path. And is this idea that the negative is also like can be used as fodder. You know, it can be used as a redirect. And what happens is, you know, in our relative life, we're just focused on gaining, you know, on that material level, right? It becomes all about that. And our society's become hyper focused on that. So, you know, people just they want everything right now, and they just, you know, and I see a lot of these spiritual channels and people talking about manifesting and, you know, all this stuff. And I'm not against manifesting at all. But I think that what happens though is the focus becomes about, you know, gaining more wealth, gaining more, you know, attractive partners and relationships and, you know, just material gain. And there's a limit to what that will accomplish. There's nothing wrong with having, you know, material things. There's nothing wrong with, being the best version of yourself so you can attract the right partner and things like that. There's nothing wrong with any of that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying though is the part that's being kind of missed is this idea of the difficulties, the vicissitudes of life becoming, you know, blessings. They're actual blessings. And when we can start to see that as a reality, these dark forces completely become complicit in our awakening, and they become actually, you know, we can actually, like, you know, give thanks to them. We can be grateful for that. And that's a shift that, you know, for me personally, I've had that realization. And I'm not, I'm not talking about justice, and I'm not talking about karma. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm just talking about from the individual awakening, the level of individual awakening. I mean, obviously, people who do bad things to people, they have a karma that they're going to have to answer for, right? Their actions have been misaligned with the divine, and so there's going to be a price to pay for that. However, it's not a price that I have to set, or it's not something I have to determine on an individual level. I don't have to hate them. I don't have to have anger and, you know, all this negative energy going towards that, because they they actually feed off of that. It's like fertilizing them, you know. It's like giving them more power, because that's their only power. Their only power is feeding off of this loosh. They've severed their connection to this, you know, what we call source, God, divine. They've severed themselves from that level. So I just want to kind of put that out there. I think that it's important. I think it's a shift. For me personally, it's a huge shift. And the way this translates is in your own personal life, you'll start to see everything giving you what you need to grow and to move past the blocks and the barriers. So, for example, it might be frustration with your spouse or frustration with your kid. I mean, you know, Babaji talked about the family being like the most important thing in terms of helping people awaken, because nothing triggers you more than the things you're the most connected to. And those things can act as incredible assistance in your growth. I'm still working on this. I still get hung up in stuff. I still get frustrated. I still get, you know, negative. I still play that, oh, poor me thing in my mind. I'm not saying I'm there yet. I'm just saying I see it. I see now the value of these difficulties and these things that I would have really bucked hard against. Now I'm starting to go, oh, okay, that's just my mind. That's just my ego. It's attaching to this. It's clinging on to this. It's like it's kind of like, you know, I don't know. You could compare it to a lot of different things, but you know, our ego is literally dying. Our ego is literally being. It's like hospice. This is kind of a funny analogy, I guess you could say, but it's like our ego is in hospice right now. The whole planet's ego is in hospice. So it's on life support. The life support's being taken away, and now we're just going to let the self, this small self, we're going to let it die. We're going to let it go. And on a collective, that's what we're doing. So kind of an interesting analogy popped in my head, but that's kind of what it is. And it's, you know, if you've ever been around someone who's passing, it's like a birth, you know. It's kind of like, it's you know, labor's hard, right? And you know, I work in neonatal, and we go on deliveries all the time, so I've been on maybe thousands of deliveries. I don't even know how many. And deliveries are difficult, you know. There's a lot of emotion and drama, but the second that baby comes out, all of that stops, and then it's just joy and happiness, right? Well, it's the same thing when we pass from this world. We're clinging to this physical form and scraping and clawing and clinging and scraping and clawing and fighting and fighting and fighting until there's that release, and then we step out of this physical boundary, this physical body, and it's going to be just, oh my God, relief, right? It's relief. So that's what we're going through as a collective right now. We're going through this dying process. It can be kind of scary, I guess, if you're completely materially motivated. And I'm not saying I'm not, but I do focus on my spiritual side a lot, and working on my attachments and all that. And that is going to pay dividends, because we'll be able to let go when the time is right, instead of trying to hold on and cling. And we'll just be ready to ascend to a higher level when that time comes. And I don't know when that time's going to come. You know, everybody's trying to predict the future, but nobody knows for sure. And it could be, you know, 5 minutes from now. I don't know, but we're just letting go, practicing letting go. That's what the practice is all about. It's about connecting to that part of ourself that is, you know, independent of this physical reality, but yet it's actually projecting into this physical reality. So that's the connection. That's the way in. The mind is the way in to this. It's the way in. And if we follow the mind, if we let the mind create that natural path back to source, that's as simple. It's that simple. That's why they call it Raja Yoga. It's the king's yoga. It's the highest level. It's the highest level of reconnection to divine. There's many spokes on the wheel, and there's many ways to reconnect to divine, but the highest level is to let the mind just return to its natural source. I'll leave it at that, but I hope you all have a good day.